So I was extremely depressed about a year ago. I had no purpose, no goals, no bite, and I achieved my biggest fear yet. I got fat. What I turned into was an absolute disgrace. And what made it even worse for me is I fell into the content trap. Being constantly overwhelmed, being constantly overstimulated by people that are doing a lot better than me, a lot earlier on in their journeys, being exposed to crisis after crisis. It was all just too much. So I reverted back into my natural instinct, which was to reread books that could possibly get me out of my head, even if it was just one day at a time. But there was one book that was a beacon of hope for me. This book offered invaluable lessons on finding peace and clarity amongst the chaos of modern day life. And that one book was Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And there was one concept that was the main pillar that drove me out of my depression and allowed me to actually go back to my original self. And it all starts with a man called Awa Kenzo. So Awa Kenzo was a Japanese archery teacher, and he had a very unique style of how he taught his students. So as opposed to teaching them the technical ability, how to stand, how to hold the bow, how to breathe, this, that, and the other, he would teach his students the skill of detachment as opposed to the technical ability. So the process on how he used to teach his students was to get a massive block of hay. He would give them a bow, he'd give them an arrow, and he would literally just tell them to shoot into this hay for months and months and months on end. If they asked for any sort of, technical ability, how should I stand, how should I do anything, he would literally say, do not ask, just keep practicing. He wanted to teach his students the ability to let go of any outcome of hitting anything. So he wanted his students to fully be focused on the art of practicing and the art of becoming a master eventually. So when he thought his students had, developed the skill of detachment and fully surrendered into their mastery of work, he would then introduce them to shooting a target. So if one of the students did a really good shot and they hit the bullseye, or they did a really bad shot and they completely missed the target, Kenzo would encourage the students to go on practicing as if nothing happened. Now, as you can imagine, a lot of the students, a majority of the students, were extremely frustrated and had setbacks because they couldn't get out of this detachment of letting go. But the students that could were the ones that progressed a lot faster than the others and stuck it out for the long run and eventually became masters of their craft. And I actually think this story had a massive effect on my life at that time. Like, my whole purpose and happiness was, predicted on a certain outcome happening. And if that outcome didn't come to fruition, then it would fucking cripple me, man. Like, it would frustrate me so much and I'd lose so much faith, just like the other students that was specifically focused on the outcome. Whereas if I just focused on the art of practicing, doing the things that would allow me to get there without focusing on the outcome, I would have been a lot more focused, a lot more happier. Like the students that were probably the 10% of the whole class, they ended up becoming masters in their craft. And the more energy I put into achieving something, a certain outcome, the faster it ran away from me effectively, which is pretty funny. And to be fair, that could be used as anything, big or small. Like, even if you're hitting a golf ball, like if there's person A that tries really, really hard to get this certain swing and he puts a lot of effort into hitting the golf ball a certain way, and then you've got person B who literally just practices with no intention of a certain outcome. He literally just is enjoying the whole process of just hitting this golf ball over and over again. There's no focus on that technical ability and that, that rigidness of I have to hit it a certain way to get this certain, goal. And if you look at them both and you just think who was going to be more successful, the winner is definitely person B. Inevitably they get more reps because they don't have this outcome that they have to get. It's literally just enjoying the process. You can have more reps, you can have more enjoyment of the actual thing, you're going to enjoy the process a lot more, and you're going to have a solid mindset. You can have that mindset of detachment from the outcome, that art of letting go of anything and literally just letting nature take its course. And I think Ryan Holiday explains that so well in this book as well. It's that definition of stillness, and he explains that this is a way of superior performance and mastery in any field. It's the masters that don't really care about the outcomes. They just do it for the love of doing it. And that state of looseness that will give you, more control than gripping tightly on something, on a method or a technique or an outcome. Like, that is not what's going to allow you to become a master in your field. And I'm a type of person that I do put a lot of pressure on myself. And I look back on the last 25 years of my life and I think, I haven't really achieved much with that mindset of like, I have to have a certain outcome, I have to do this, I have to do that. So it only makes sense to change that. And I think this is why it was a massive, a pillar into getting me out of my depression, because I was so detached on outcomes and outcomes and outcomes, and it's fucking crippled me. Like, it actually crippled me. So if we look at this in a business example, when, let's just say you want to buy 2 houses by the end of 2024. If we applied this new concept of letting go of the outcomes, then we would have, I want to go to 4 networking events a week and speak to 10 people. Because this is us practicing the thing that will allow us to get to the end result, but the end result doesn't really matter. So we're literally just focusing on the things that matter, because the outcome doesn't really matter. It's us letting go of the outcomes and just practicing. And I think outcomes will inevitably happen without the obsession of an outcome being achieved. So Kenzo quoted, "If you aim for the trophy in life, be it recognition, wealth, or power, we'll miss the target. If we aim too intensely for the target, we neglect the process and the art required to hit it. What we should be doing is practicing. The more at peace we are, the more productive we can be." So my mind at the moment is completely away from goals, and I just want to be learning, developing, creating, networking, and everything else will just follow. Like, it's just inevitable. So this is where my mindset is at the moment. So if you want to know more about how I broke up my depression in more of a step-by-step way, then make sure you click this video here. I explain literally the whole process of being in mental hell to being like returning to my normal happy-go-lucky self. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.